Coming up on Good Morning Northwest, after several weeks of being closed due to COVID-19 restrictions, this Yakima business reopened for takeout, but instead of a busy day back, they found vandalism.
And we're getting ready for another round of wet weather and mountain snow showers. I'll have more details on that weekend forecast. It's all coming up.
From Camp KVUE Local News, this is Good Morning Northwest.
Good morning, Northwest, and happy Friday, everybody. We've made it to the end of the work week. I'm Monica Petrozelli. Let's check in with Chief Meteorologist Kristen Walls. Kristen, end of the first week of 2021.
Yep.
First full week, at least.
First full week, and we are going to see some improvements, at least in the forecast. Part of the weekend, we will see some sun, but we have to get through a little bit of some wet weather throughout the day today before we see that. So let's get you started. Most locations right now, we are off to a dry start. Clear conditions in the downtown Yakima area, but as we switch over to the radar and satellite, clouds are starting to build back in. Rain showers, a little bit of some light snow that's developing back through some of our mountains early this morning. So grab the umbrella. I think a lot of the area will see some soggy weather for that commute to work, and a little bit of some fog that has developed as well there along the foothills of the Blues, and especially there along the eastern slopes. Cle Elum, your visibility less than about a half mile. And those temperatures have been falling. We are below freezing in Walla Walla and Pendleton, 32 in the Tri-Cities, and then up to about 39 for Yakima. So as I take you throughout the day today, the best chance for some wet weather this morning through about the lunchtime hour. Mostly cloudy still this afternoon, but drier with a high of 41 degrees. So what will your weekend have in store? Again, could we see some of that sunshine? What will those temperatures look like? Your full forecast is coming up.
Thank you, Kristen. Authorities have arrested a 25-year-old man they say vandalized a Black Lives Matter sign Wednesday morning outside a Yakima restaurant. Police say the man threw rocks at the sign and through the windows of Maracay Creations near Summit View and North 16th Avenues. Owner Angie Devora says he shouted obscenities aimed at BLM and told employees to take the sign down before returning to his car parked nearby and holding a knife to his own throat. Officers were able to take the man into custody.
I've received a handful of death threats since I put the sign up in March of 2020. And yesterday's experience is exactly why the sign will remain up.
Police took the man to Yakima Valley Memorial Hospital for a mental health evaluation. He is facing malicious mischief charges. A GoFundMe has been set up to pay for the damages and more security equipment at the restaurant, which will reopen today at 9 a.m. for takeout. Police in College Place used Craigslist to help track down a suspected burglar, and they say a box of cigars was a big clue. Police say someone stole this box of cigars from a home in College Place. When they showed up for sale online, a cop offered to buy them. They met with the 41-year-old suspect from Pasco at a gas station in Touchy.
Once the individual had made an agreement with the undercover officer there, that's when the other officers and deputies that were nearby, arrived on scene and took him into custody.
The suspect was taken to the Walla Walla County Jail. He's facing charges for having stolen property and trying to sell it. In Sunnyside, police are investigating another homicide in the area. Police responded to a 911 call regarding an assault with a weapon near the 2300 block of Yakima Valley Highway yesterday. That's where they found a Grandview resident dead from multiple gunshot wounds. They think the crime may be gang-related. The victim has been identified as 27-year-old Angel Faz. This is the second homicide out of Sunnyside in 2 weeks. Investigators are urging anyone with more information to contact Sunnyside Police or Yakima County Crime Stoppers. In Oregon, Tigard Police declared a riot near the police department last night. Protesters marked Tigard City Hall with graffiti, and several windows at the police department were smashed. They say the group also marched through downtown and caused some damage there. People showed up to protest the deadly police shooting of a man Wednesday. Police say while responding to a domestic violence call, they tried to arrest 26-year-old Jacob McDuff while he was in his car. They say McDuff had a knife, and during the struggle to arrest him, an officer shot and killed him. We've been seeing protests at state houses across the nation, including here in Washington state. A crowd even broke through the governor's gates heading to his mansion this week. Despite all that, lawmakers are planning to meet in the state capitol when the legislature convenes on Monday. Leaders from both parties spoke during an online preview of the legislative session yesterday, saying that the state constitution requires lawmakers to meet in person and that it's crucial to demonstrate that lawmakers won't be intimidated from doing the people's business. When President Trump's supporters stormed the U.S. Capitol on Wednesday, the nation was shocked but not unwarned. A series of dress rehearsals of sorts have played out in state houses in Washington, Oregon, Idaho, and elsewhere in recent months, with armed protesters outside or even breaking in. Political science professors say there's a direct relationship between the growing paramilitary activity in state capitals and what happened Wednesday. They also say the event at the U.S. Capitol likely helped groups recruit and radicalize new members, and that could mean more dangerous situations at state houses. Switching gears at 5:05, and news from around the world. China's annual Harbin Ice and Snow Festival is underway, and the sculptures and ice castles are as enchanting as ever. Now, COVID-19 restrictions made for a smaller event this year, but still pretty awesome, Kristen. Look at that. The ice artists managed to create more than 2,000 ice sculptures, landscapes, castles, rides, and stage shows. I love the colors. The festival usually draws millions to Harbin, where winter temperatures reach -13 degrees, so a lot of people must really want to go. The Ice and Snow Sculpture Expo will continue into February.
I mean, some of these things look like paintings. They don't even look like they're real.
It's amazing the way they light them up. Definitely gonna put that one on my bucket list.
For sure.
All right, let's take a quick break here in Good Morning Northwest, but first let's take that live look outside.
And we are in store for another round of wet weather today. I'll have a look at the timing on when we can expect the rain and if it'll impact the upcoming weekend. Your full forecast, it's all coming up.
Plus, those high-stakes Senate races have officially been decided, and this Republican challenger is admitting defeat. Welcome back, everyone. In politics, Republican Senator Kelly Loeffler officially conceded to her Democratic opponent, Raphael Warnock, in Georgia. This was one of the races that flipped the Senate in Georgia's runoff election. So now the U.S. Senate will be controlled by Democrats. Loeffler was appointed to the position a year ago. She posted a video on social media yesterday to congratulate Warnock. He's the first African American to represent Georgia in the Senate. And having control of the Senate will likely make it easier for President-elect Biden to get his administration officials approved. Biden officially named his pick for Attorney General yesterday and talked about why the job is so important.
A judiciary doesn't serve the will of the president or exist to protect him or her. We have three co-equal branches of government, co-equal. Our president is not above the law.
He's nominating appeals court judge Merrick Garland as Attorney General. Coming up next on Good Morning Northwest, even some of President Trump's former allies have some choice words for how he handled the Capitol siege. Welcome back, everyone. At 5:14, another Trump cabinet member has resigned over Wednesday's riot in Washington, D.C. Betsy DeVos stepped down as President Trump's education secretary yesterday. In her resignation letter, she says, quote, "We're left to clean up the mess caused by violent protesters overrunning the U.S. Capitol in an attempt to undermine the people's business." She went on to say regarding Trump, quote, "There's no mistaking the impact your rhetoric had on the situation, and it is the inflection point for me," end quote. She is the second cabinet member to resign over the violence. The president's transportation secretary, Elaine Chao, also quit over Wednesday's events. Former Attorney General William Barr has some harsh words for his former boss, President Trump, over Wednesday's riots at the U.S. Capitol building. In a statement, he said, quote, "Orchestrating a mob to pressure Congress is inexcusable. The president's conduct yesterday was a betrayal of his office and supporters." Barr resigned as Attorney General on December 23rd. 5 people have now died, and at least 50 police officers were hurt in Wednesday's riots at the U.S. Capitol building. The Capitol Police Union chair confirming just yesterday that one of their officers has now died at the hospital just last night due to injuries he sustained while being attacked during the siege with a fire hydrant. A woman also died the day of after being shot in the chest. She was identified as Ashley Babbitt, a 35-year-old from Huntington, Maryland. Police also say 3 other people died, apparently from medical emergencies during the riot. 1 woman and 2 men. 68 people have been arrested so far. Of those, D.C. police say only 1 person was actually from D.C. Among the injured officers, several were hospitalized with serious injuries. New Jersey is sending 500 members of its National Guard to D.C. Governor Phil Murphy says it's at the request of the U.S. National Guard Bureau. He says their directive is to, quote, protect democracy and facilitate the peaceful transition of power. The deployment is underway and they're expected to arrive by Sunday. This group is in addition to the 1,000 members New York's National Guard is also sending. Capitol Police Chief Stephen Sund is resigning as well. Several lawmakers calling for him to step down, as well as other Capitol security officials. House Speaker Nancy Pelosi says House Sergeant at Arms Paul Irving also plans to step down. He's been the chamber's chief law enforcement and protocol officer since 2012. Over in the Senate, Democratic leader Chuck Schumer says he'll fire Sergeant at Arms Michael Stanger if he doesn't resign. The calls for resignations come amid criticism that those law enforcement leaders weren't prepared to control Wednesday's mob.
Now, Cap KVU First Alert Weather with Chief Meteorologist Kristen Walls.
And as we look ahead into the upcoming weekend, we're going to have even more changes. So especially throughout the day today, just make sure to grab your rain gear. Your umbrella certainly needed early this morning, although most locations waking up off to a dry start. So the rain will be building in out there for today. We're going to have a little bit of some sun peeking out for your upcoming weekend on Saturday after we start Saturday morning with a little bit of some fog. A stray shower is expected early in the day Sunday, but we'll have near average temperatures for the upcoming weekend. Average for this time of the year is typically in the low 40s before numbers start to jump back up next week. So we are expecting at least a couple of days back into the 50s with 54 on Wednesday, 50 degrees on Thursday of next week. So numbers overall have been staying above average with some of this wet weather spilling on in. So speaking of rain, cloudy start this morning. You could see some of that active weather back through the Cascades early this morning. Starting to notice a little bit of some snowfall through some of our mountain passes, but the majority of wet weather still back to our west into Seattle and Portland. Not expecting a whole lot as far as mountain snow goes. There's no advisories or warnings in place, but a couple of inches certainly expected through some of those passes throughout the day today. So the current update right now, so Quammy Pass, it is currently cloudy and a little bit of some light snow falling for White and Stevens Pass. Stevens Pass just has some traction tires advised early this morning. So as we get you over to Futurecast, as we time out the rainfall for today, just after 8 o'clock this morning into the Yakima Valley, just after 9 and 10 o'clock. Those scattered showers pushing into parts of the Tri-Cities. And then later on this afternoon, still staying mostly cloudy, but a lot of the area will start to dry out. Some sun back in the forecast for your Saturday after starting off with a little bit of some freezing fog early in the day. We'll have just a slight chance for a stray shower out the door early on Sunday morning. There's 6 a.m. and otherwise just staying mostly cloudy for your Sunday afternoon. So as far as what we're seeing out the door this morning, we have a little bit of some fog that has popped up around Walla Walla this morning, less than a half mile. Down to 1 mile in Hermiston, and also looking at some of that fog along the eastern slopes of the Cascades. Temperatures right now, we're right at that freezing mark in the Tri-Cities with 31 in Walla Walla. 34 in Toppenish, and then Yakima close to that 40-degree mark early this morning. It will be a little bit breezy along the foothills of the Blues today as this next system moves in. Overall, though, right now 6-mile-per-hour wind in Pendleton, and then right around 3 in Walla Walla. Dayton, a little bit breezy for you, up to about 17 miles per hour. So there are your numbers for this afternoon. Low 40s for Toppenish into Yakima, jumping up to 41 in the Tri-Cities with 42 in Prosser, and then low 40s for Dayton, Walla Walla, and Pendleton today at 40 degrees. So overnight tonight, patchy freezing fog developing. It's just a cold night. Numbers down into the 20s and low 30s. So there's your 7-day forecast of some morning fog tomorrow, otherwise partly sunny. Stray shower early in the day on Sunday at 42, and then a few more showers moving in here Tuesday and Wednesday of next week. And your 7-day for Yakima should be a beautiful day Saturday, partly sunny at 40 degrees. Mostly cloudy though on Sunday with a high near 40.
Thank you, Kristen. Coming up next, Boeing is agreeing to pay billions to settle charges over those two deadly 737 MAX plane crashes. Welcome back, everyone. Boeing will pay $2.5 billion to settle a criminal charge related to its troubled 737 MAX jetliner. The Justice Department announced the settlement yesterday, nearly 2 years after two crashes that killed hundreds of people. The first crash happened in October of 2018 in Indonesia, and a second occurred 5 months later in Ethiopia. In both cases, an automated system pushed the noses of the planes down and pilots weren't able to regain control. Boeing is agreeing to pay money for crash victims' families, airline customers, and airlines, as well as a fine. Macy's is closing 45 more of its iconic department stores by the middle of 2021. Macy's hasn't released a list of locations, but the retail giant announced it would close 125 stores over the next couple years. Macy's temporarily closed all locations in mid-March because of the pandemic. 30 of those stores closed permanently. Despite the grim news, USA Today reports Macy's is in better shape than some other retailers. Their CEO says with its competition struggling more, there's good potential for his brand to gain market share moving forward. Alrighty, check this out at 5:25. A mammoth job got going at the largest zoo in the United Kingdom. Annual inventory. Staff at Whipsnade Zoo in Bedfordshire, England, are counting every invertebrate, bird, fish, mammal, reptile, and amphibian. Got some rhino counting going on there, I suppose. And it's no easy task, apparently.
Oh, really? This looks fun.
It does sound fun. The zoo is home to nearly 4,000 animals, though. And they welcomed many new arrivals just last year, including 7 Chinese water deer and Nino, an endangered red panda cub you just saw there. They share their data with other zoos to help manage conservation breeding programs around the world.
Oh my goodness, this would be a fun job.
This would be probably one of the coolest jobs ever.
Oh, it would be.
Getting to hang out with all
So
those
adorable.
animals all day. Alrighty, coming up next on Good Morning Northwest, local business owners are still feeling the pressure even after Governor Inslee laid out that new reopening plan. Plus, with the United States hitting new records for coronavirus deaths, health experts are still focused on trying to get people to mask up.
And at 5:26, we're going to see some more rainfall moving in throughout the day today. I'll have a look at when the wet weather is expected to arrive. Stick around for that full forecast. It's all coming up.
Coming up on Good Morning Northwest, while businesses are still waiting to open, the U.S. just set another new record for COVID deaths.
And we're looking at another round of rainfall and mountain snow on the way. Will it impact the upcoming weekend? Your forecast, it's all coming up.
From Camp KVU Local News, this is Good Morning Northwest.
Good morning, Northwest, and happy Friday. We have just about made it to the weekend. Thanks so much for starting it with us. Let's check in with Chief Meteorologist Kristen Walls. Kristen, quite a busy week, but
It was.
No, we made it to Friday.
We did. It was a kind of a long week. We were spoiled with the holidays, of course, with Christmas and New Year's. Only having 4-day work weeks, but yeah, we're back to normal. And temperature-wise, we're going to be back to normal as we head into the upcoming weekend. So let's get you started with a live look. This is in downtown Yakima, and some spots are dealing with a little bit of some fog out the door this morning. So another round of that as we're going to see some more wet weather spilling back in. So we have clouds across the majority of our area right now. A little bit of some snow that is flying there through the eastern slopes, and the snow that is coming down through parts of the mountains as well. But most locations right now off to a dry start. So there's some of the fog, especially around Walla Walla this morning. Your visibility less than a half mile, and temperatures for you is well below freezing. So some icy spots this morning. And then we're also looking at a little bit of some fog through the eastern slopes. So again, temperatures right now, 31 Walla Walla, 32 in the Tri-Cities with some upper 30s in Yakima. Plan on the wet weather to arrive in the next couple of hours through at least lunchtime. Drier this afternoon with a high of 41. So look ahead into your weekend forecast. Could we see any more wet weather? Your full forecast, it's coming up.
Thank you, Kristen. Breaking overnight, one person is dead and another injured after 3 cars collided on I-82 near Prosser. The fatal crash happened just before 11 last night. Troopers say a 60-year-old man was driving in the wrong lane when he crashed into a pickup truck, which caused the pickup to hit another car. The 60-year-old man was declared dead at the scene. Investigators don't know yet if drugs or alcohol played a factor. Governor Jay Inslee has said regions have to be below 10% positivity rate before they can start to reopen. The latest numbers from the Benton-Franklin Health District show we're around a 30% test positivity rate in Franklin County and over 20% in Benton County. That means between the 2 counties, around 1 in 4 people getting tested has the virus. The Grant County Health District reported 8 new COVID-19 deaths last night. 4 linked to the outbreak at a long-term care center in Moses Lake, which was first reported in November. In Yakima County, the latest numbers show about 2 in 5 people getting tested are coming back positive. The health department wants to remind you, if you go get tested because you think you might have the virus, you need to go straight home afterwards.
After you've been tested, you need to wait until 24 hours after fever. Symptoms should be going down in 10 days since you became symptomatic. After the 10 days, you shouldn't be infected anymore.
Officials say a lot of the spread happens when people who go out and socialize then accidentally bring the virus back to their whole family. Governor Inslee's new statewide reopening plan goes into effect on Monday, and all regions will start in phase 1. But it's not until phase 2 that restaurants and bars will be allowed to open for indoor services. And when that will be depends on our region's ability to control COVID-19. One employee at Chemo Sports Bar in Richland told us he's unhappy with the plan.
There's still no mandates on large Costco's and Walmart's when Costco just had 160-something breakouts in one facility. And they can't even trace any of that back to these outbreaks to restaurants. So we don't have a good feeling about it.
Their general manager doesn't think indoor dining could be back until May or June and expects this year could look a lot like last year. But right now, Washington is still essentially in lockdown, and that continues to impact our unemployment. More than 500,000 Washingtonians filed for some kind of unemployment last week. New numbers released just yesterday show unemployment is still more than twice what it was this time last year. Health experts say a new year doesn't mean we can let our guards down against COVID-19. The U.S. continues to break death records, and now 8 states have confirmed cases of the variant. Here in Washington, there's been slight improvement, but doctors are still asking all Americans to mask up and when it's your turn to get the vaccine.
We're headed still in the wrong direction. We still have far too many cases, far too many people ending up in the hospital, and that means far too many people dying from COVID-19.
On Tuesday, Dr. Amy Person said we're still waiting on numbers from the holidays. And something important that Dr. Lynch pointed out, make sure your mask is clean. So yes, you do need to wash your mask, or if it's disposable, wear a new one. He urges people to continue safe hygiene and social distancing as well. As lawmakers across the nation react to Wednesday's events in Washington, D.C., many have called upon Vice President Mike Pence to invoke the 25th Amendment to remove President Trump from office before his term ends in just 2 weeks. The last time the 25th was invoked was when President George W. Bush underwent a colonoscopy. He willingly transferred power to his vice president, Dick Cheney. In this situation, Pence would have to consult with the cabinet.
It would have to be the vice president and a majority of the cabinet would have to agree that the president was not capable of carrying out the office of the presidency. They would then have to write a letter to the leaders of Congress saying that, and that the vice president was now the president.
However, Trump could come back and say he's capable of carrying out his term. Then the majority of the cabinet would have to repeat the first step, and a vote would go to Congress. Baumann says since this is unprecedented, there's no telling exactly how much time that all could even take. But Washington Senator Patty Murray said Vice President Pence needs to invoke the 25th Amendment, quote, saying to ensure the president is prevented from causing further harm. Murray says President Trump should be held accountable for the crimes at the Capitol. And Washington Senator Maria Cantwell says she's supported impeaching President Trump before, and she'd be willing to do it again because she says spreading misinformation about the election system is failing to uphold the Constitution. Cantwell says she would also support the cabinet if they decide to try using the 25th Amendment to remove President Trump. Now a look at some of the positive stories coming out of the pandemic. A retired high school teacher from Lemoore, California has been a volunteer puppy raiser for more than 50 years now, watching most of the 56 pups she's worked with move on to guide dog training. But she didn't stop there. Mary Beth Hearn started a guide dog puppy raisers club in 1992, teaching students to help raise and train 170 service dogs. And they kept at it. Even when the school moved to virtual learning amid the pandemic, they spend at least a year with each puppy, training them to walk on a leash, be good dogs in public, and other skills.
I want to be a part of that team.
This is also another job. So, you know, that other one and this one, you know, becoming a puppy raiser.
Anything that has to do with animals, you can count me in.
And I know the local shelters, they do need help with fostering and things like that. So there's options.
Yes.
All right, it's now time to raise the flag here on Good Morning Northwest with the Pledge of Allegiance.
With schools pretty much closed, we still honor the flag each morning. So please send a photo or video of your child doing the Pledge of Allegiance to pledge@capkvu.com, and we'll share it with viewers.
At Archibald's, we believe it's important to keep the traditions that have made our country great. We're proud to support Raise the Flag.
Welcome back at 5:40. For the first time, President Donald Trump acknowledged that he will not be serving a second term in office. Trump releasing a new video on his Twitter account yesterday where he rebuked the riot on Capitol Hill, saying he was outraged by the violence. And Trump says he's now focused on a smooth transition of power.
A new administration will be inaugurated on January 20th. My focus now turns to ensuring a smooth, orderly, and seamless transition of power.
Trump has been criticized for egging on his supporters Wednesday before they stormed the Capitol. A White House advisor says Trump only recorded this video because of staff resignations and talk of impeachment. Vice President Mike Pence does plan on attending the Biden inauguration, but he's still awaiting an invite. That's according to sources close to the VP. A spokesperson for the Joint Congressional Committee on Inaugural Ceremonies says the president and vice president are never formally invited to the ceremonies, and they say they haven't officially received word from Pence or President Trump on if they will attend. But Pence's decision would mark another major break with Trump after the two disagreed over the vice president's role in certifying the election results. Joe Biden's inauguration will take place on January 20th. Coming up next on Good Morning Northwest, the man seen in this photo lounging in House Speaker Nancy Pelosi's office is now speaking out.
Now, KapKVU First Alert Weather with Chief Meteorologist Kristen Walls.
5:45 and welcome back to Good Morning Northwest. Finally, the end of the work week. We have a few more changes that will move in the next couple of hours. Rain showers are set to move in at the lower elevations. It's just going to be a rainy start to our day, but the second half should just be overall mostly cloudy, a little bit drier later on this afternoon. Sunshine back in the forecast for your Saturday, and as you look ahead to Sunday, more clouds and a very slight chance for maybe a stray shower for the first part of the day, but temperatures overall will be near average. We have been sitting in the 50s the last couple of days. We're back down to about 41 degrees for that high today. Low 40s Saturday and Sunday, and then we'll have another jump in those temperatures by early next week. So Tuesday, Wednesday could be our warmest day next week with that high temperature of 54 degrees. So there are the clouds that are starting to stream in. Wet weather not too far away, so that's why you want to make sure to grab the umbrella. Again, 8, 9 o'clock this morning with some scattered showers moving in. Radar and satellite around the Pacific Northwest. The snow is already starting to move into some of our mountain passes as well, especially for White Pass. Just a little bit of some light snow. And We don't have any advisories or warnings in place. We're not expecting a heavy amount of snow, but there could be a few travel restrictions. Stevens Pass right now, traction tires are advised with some light snow coming down there as well. So as far as what we're going to see throughout the day today, again, the best chance for some rain showers will be early this morning. You can see here with Futurecast, 8 o'clock moving into the Yakima Valley, a little bit of a rain snow mix back through the eastern slopes. Tri-Cities just after about 9 or 10 o'clock this morning. A little bit drier by later on this afternoon with a little bit of some snow there still through the northern blues, but back to a partly sunny sky on Saturday after a little bit of some freezing fog early for the first part of the day. There's Sunday morning at 6 a.m. with a slight chance for just a few showers to pop up. Otherwise, we're just going to see a mostly cloudy sky throughout your day on Sunday. A little bit of some fog has also developed this morning, especially here around Walla Walla, less than about a half mile, down to about 1 mile for Hermiston, and that fog also popping up there for Prosser. A little bit of some freezing fog as well, maybe some icy spots from Walla Walla, Hermiston, and Prosser with those temperatures right around freezing. Currently at 32 in the Tri-Cities, and then some upper 30s over into the Yakima Valley this morning. We are expecting those winds to pick up just a bit through the northern blues and also through the run around Walla Walla and Pendleton early this morning. Not too bad, but along the foothills this afternoon could be a little bit breezy with that next system set to move in. But as far as our temperatures go, we're jumping up to 41 this afternoon for Yakima with 40 degrees in Ellensburg. Tri-Cities today up to 41 with 42 in Hermiston and close to 40 for Pendleton, and then Walla Walla this afternoon with a high of 41. So overnight tonight, we're looking at some patchy freezing fog to develop, otherwise mostly cloudy, numbers in the 20s and near 30 degrees. So there's a look at your 7-day forecast with partly sunny skies Saturday, stray shower on Sunday. Then as we head into next week, a few showers there Tuesday into Wednesday. Wednesday back up to 54. And then your 7-day forecast in Yakima, a little bit of some fog tomorrow morning. Otherwise, that stray shower Sunday with a high near 40.
Thank you, Kristen. New Jersey is sending 500 members of its National Guard to D.C. Governor Phil Murphy says it's at the request of the U.S. National Guard Bureau. He says their directive is to protect democracy and facilitate the peaceful transition of power. The deployment is underway and they're expected to arrive by Sunday. This group is in addition to the 1,000 members New York's National Guard is also sending. And 5 people have now died and at least 50 officers were hurt in Wednesday's riots at the U.S. Capitol building. The Capitol Police Union chair says one of their officers died at the hospital just last night due to injuries he sustained while being attacked during the siege with a fire hydrant. A woman also died the day of after being shot in the chest. She was identified as Ashley Babbitt, a 35-year-old from Huntington, Maryland. Police also say 3 other people died from medical emergencies during the riot, 1 woman and 2 men. 68 people have been arrested so far. Of those, D.C. police say only 1 person was actually from D.C. Among the injured officers, several were hospitalized with serious injuries. A man photographed lounging in House Speaker Nancy Pelosi's office during riots Wednesday now says he was just looking for the bathroom. He's 60-year-old Richard Bego Barnett, who's involved with a pro-gun rights group in Northwest Arkansas. He admitted he's the person in the viral photo, and he even said he took an envelope off Pelosi's desk and left her a quarter and a note.
I sat my flag down. I sat down here at my desk. I'm a taxpayer. I'm a patriot. That is her desk. We loaned her that desk, and she ain't appreciating the desk, so I thought I'd sit down and appreciate the desk. I threw my feet up on the desk.
The FBI says Barnett could face federal charges. Many who stormed the Capitol appear to be conspiracy theorists and extremists involved with groups like QAnon and the Proud Boys. At least 23 people arrested in the riot at the Capitol Wednesday have been released from jail. A D.C. Superior Court judge released them after they made their first appearance in court to face charges. Those charges range from violating a curfew to more serious charges like carrying a gun without a license and assault on a police officer. All the defendants pleaded not guilty. Many of them are from other states that are as far away as Oregon. The judge ordered them not to return to D.C. until their next court appearance on June 10th. The FBI is looking for the suspect responsible for placing pipe bombs outside the Democratic and Republican National Committee offices on Wednesday. The agency releasing this photo. They're offering up to $50,000 for information on this person. Right now, they haven't shared exactly how this person in the hooded sweatshirt is related to the pipe bomb incidents. When we come back, new year, new record low mortgage. We're talking about why rates are falling.
Now, Cap KVU First Alert Weather with Chief Meteorologist Kristen Walls.
5:45 and welcome back to Good Morning Northwest. Finally, the end of the work week. We have a few more changes that will move in the next couple of hours. Rain showers are set to move in at the lower elevations. It's just going to be a rainy start to our day, but the second half should just be overall mostly cloudy, a little bit drier later on this afternoon. Sunshine back in the forecast for your Saturday, and as you look ahead to Sunday, more clouds and a very slight chance for maybe a stray shower for the first part of the day, but temperatures overall will be near average. We have been sitting in the 50s the last couple of days. We're back down to about 41 degrees for that high today. Low 40s Saturday and Sunday, and then we'll have another jump in those temperatures by early next week. So Tuesday, Wednesday could be our warmest day next week with that high temperature of 54 degrees. So there are the clouds that are starting to stream in. Wet weather not too far away, so that's why you want to make sure to grab the umbrella. Again, 8, 9 o'clock this morning with some scattered showers moving in. Radar and satellite around the Pacific Northwest. The snow is already starting to move into some of our mountain passes as well, especially for White Pass. Just a little bit of some light snow, and we don't have any advisories or warnings in place. We're not expecting a heavy amount of snow, but there could be a few travel restrictions. Stevens Pass right now, traction tires are advised with some light snow coming down there as well. So as far as what we're going to see throughout the day today, again, the best chance for some rain showers will be early this morning. You can see here with Futurecast, 8 o'clock moving into the Yakima Valley. A little bit of a rain snow mix back through the eastern slopes. Tri-Cities just after about 9 or 10 o'clock this morning. A little bit drier by later on this afternoon with a little bit of some snow there still through the northern blues, but back to a partly sunny sky on Saturday after a little bit of some freezing fog early for the first part of the day. There's Sunday morning at 6 a.m. with a slight chance for just a few showers to pop up. Otherwise, we're just going to see a mostly cloudy sky throughout your day on Sunday. A little bit of some fog has also developed this morning, especially here around Walla Walla, less than about a half mile, down to about 1 mile for Hermiston, and that fog also popping up there for Prosser. A little bit of some freezing fog as well, maybe some icy spots from Walla Walla, Hermiston, and Prosser with those temperatures right around freezing. Currently at 32 in the Tri-Cities, and then some upper 30s over into the Yakima Valley this morning. We are expecting those winds to pick up just a bit through the northern blues and also through the run around Walla Walla and Pendleton early this morning. Not too bad, but along the foothills this afternoon could be a little bit breezy with that next system set to move in. But as far as our temperatures go, we're jumping up to 41 this afternoon for Yakima with 40 degrees in Ellensburg. Tri-Cities today up to 41 with 42 in Hermiston and close to 40 for Pendleton, and then Walla Walla this afternoon with a high of 41. So overnight tonight, we're looking at some patchy freezing fog to develop, otherwise mostly cloudy, numbers in the 20s and near 30 degrees. So there's a look at your 7-day forecast with the partly sunny sky Saturday, stray shower on Sunday. Then as we head into next week, a few showers there Tuesday into Wednesday. Wednesday back up to 54. And then your 7-day forecast in Yakima, a little bit of some fog tomorrow morning. Otherwise, that stray shower Sunday with a high near 40.
Thank you, Kristen. New Jersey is sending 500 members of its National Guard to D.C. Governor Phil Murphy says it's at the request of the U.S. National Guard Bureau. He says their directive is to protect democracy and facilitate the peaceful transition of power. The deployment is underway and they're expected to arrive by Sunday. This group is in addition to the 1,000 members New York's National Guard is also sending. And 5 people have now died and at least 50 officers were hurt in Wednesday's riots at the U.S. Capitol building. The Capitol Police Union chair says one of their officers died at the hospital just last night due to injuries he sustained while being attacked during the siege with a fire hydrant. A woman also died the day of after being shot in the chest. She was identified as Ashley Babbitt, a 35-year-old from Huntington, Maryland. Police also say 3 other people died from medical emergencies during the riot, 1 woman and 2 men. 68 people have been arrested so far. Of those, D.C. police say only 1 person was actually from D.C. D.C. Among the injured officers, several were hospitalized with serious injuries. A man photographed lounging in House Speaker Nancy Pelosi's office during riots Wednesday now says he was just looking for the bathroom. He's 60-year-old Richard Bigo Barnett, who's involved with a pro-gun rights group in Northwest Arkansas. He admitted he's the person in the viral photo, and he even said he took an envelope off Pelosi's desk and left her a quarter and a note.
I sat down here at my desk. I'm a taxpayer. I'm a patriot. That ain't her desk. We loaned her that desk, and she ain't appreciating the desk, so I thought I'd sit down and appreciate the desk. I threw my feet up on the desk.
The FBI says Barnett could face federal charges. Many who stormed the Capitol appear to be conspiracy theorists and extremists involved with groups like QAnon and the Proud Boys. At least 23 people arrested in the riot at the Capitol Wednesday have been released from jail. A D.C. Superior Court judge released them after they made their first appearance in court to face charges. Those charges range from violating a curfew to more serious charges like carrying a gun without a license and assault on a police officer. All the defendants pleaded not guilty. Many of them are from other states that are as far away as Oregon. The judge ordered them not to return to D.C. until their next court appearance on June 10th. The FBI is looking for the suspect responsible for placing pipe bombs outside the Democratic and Republican National Committee offices on Wednesday. The agency releasing this photo. They're offering up to $50,000 for information on this person. Right now, they haven't shared exactly how this person in the hooded sweatshirt is related to the pipe bomb incidents. When we come back, new year, new record low mortgage. We're talking about why rates are falling.
Do you have dry, cracked hands from constant washing, cold weather, and hard work? Try O'Keefe's Working Hands. It's America's #1 selling hand cream for guaranteed relief for extremely dry, cracked hands. Also available in O'Keefe's for healthy feet. Guaranteed relief for extremely dry, cracked feet.
With schools pretty much closed, we still honor the flag each morning, so please send a photo or video of your child doing the Pledge of Allegiance to pledge@capkvu.com.
At Archibald's, we believe it's important to keep the traditions that have made our country great. We're proud to support Raise the Flag.
Please send a photo or video of your child doing the Pledge of Allegiance to pledge@capkvu.com, and we'll share it with viewers.
Welcome to Prodigy Property Management, where stellar apartment living begins. Our large selection of apartment communities offer best in comfort and modern amenities for any lifestyle and budget. Our spacious studio, 1, 2, and 3 bedroom apartments have it all. From hardwood floors, walk-in closets, pools, chic lobbies, and on-site gyms. You'll love coming home every day. Check out our list of communities by visiting prodigypro.net.
Taking care of Mom in her home was supposed to mean quality time together. It was my turn to care for her. So much for quality time. Mom felt like she was a burden and I wasn't spending time with Mom or my kids. Our answer was reliable health care. Their caregivers are matched to each family to meet the needs of your loved one where they are now and to stay with them on their journey. Care can be arranged for hours, days, months, or long term. Contact Reliable Health Care to set up a free care consultation.
Reliable Health Care. Quality care is our passion.
You love to help others. You need a solid career. You can have it all with help from Charter College. Our 10-month medical assistant program prepares you to work in healthcare settings like physician offices, rehab centers, and clinics. You'll learn to take patient vitals, assist with exams, administer injections, and maintain medical records. When you're ready to launch a rewarding healthcare career, visit chartercollege.edu because we work to get you to work.
Think of it as your best defense. Think of it as essential to everyone's health. Think of it as a way to save lives. Flu is spreading. Get a flu vaccine now. Visit knockoutflu.org.
Sunday. It's NFL Super Wild Card Weekend on KVU as Baltimore battles Tennessee. The Ravens and the Titans. Sunday morning at 10 on ABC KVU.
Stressed out about money? From your monthly bills to the cash that could be hiding in your trash bin, our Superstar Money Summit is revealing the secrets to getting control of your spending and debt. The Dr. Oz Show, today at 4 on Cap KView.
E.T., followed by Extra, tonight at 7 on Cap KView.
Welcome back to Good Morning Northwest at 5:54. Macy's is closing 45 more of its iconic department stores by the middle of 2021. Macy's hasn't released a list of locations, but the retail giant announced it would close 125 stores over the next couple of years. Macy's temporarily closed all retail locations in mid-March of 2020 because of the pandemic. 30 of those stores closed permanently. Despite the news, USA Today reports Macy's is in better shape than some other retailers. The Macy's CEO says with his competition struggling even more, there's potential for his brand to gain market share moving forward. According to Freddie Mac, mortgage lending rates dropped to another record low last week. The Mortgage Investor reports the average interest rate on a 30-year fixed rate mortgage fell to 2.65%. It's the lowest level in nearly half a century, and it's the 17th historic low for the rate in less than a year. Meanwhile, the 15-year fixed rate mortgage dropped to 2.16%, and the 30 and 15-year rates are nearly a full percentage point lower than a year ago. Now, these low rates have brought home buyers into the market, but high demand and low inventory has raised home prices. SpaceX is celebrating its first launch of 2021. A broadcast communication satellite was launched from the Space Launch Complex at Cape Canaveral yesterday. The satellite is supposed to improve broadband data networks across an area that includes Turkey, Europe, the Middle East, as well as North and Central West Africa. Now, the technology is also supposed to provide television broadcast services to those areas. And speaking of SpaceX, its founder, Elon Musk, overtook Amazon CEO Jeff Bezos' status as the world's richest person. It happened yesterday as Tesla shares rose, lifting the value of Musk's stock by more than $9 billion. According to Bloomberg, Musk now has $190 billion in wealth, and Bezos has $187 billion. But the Forbes real-time tracker has different numbers showing that the two men are $18 billion apart. Bezos lost $4.3 billion in the value of his Amazon stock Wednesday amid fears of more regulation on big tech under incoming President Biden. Meanwhile, Musk saw a net worth increase of $4.1 billion due to another gain in Tesla shares.
All right, let's get you over to that close to home forecast today at 5:57. Rain gear certainly needed. We have more rain set to build back in this morning. So you can take a look at some of our temperatures. A little bit chilly compared to the last couple of days. We're expecting numbers this afternoon into the low 40s. After some chilly morning rain showers, it will be a little bit drier though this afternoon. Otherwise, just mostly cloudy. A little bit of some morning fog that has developed early along the foothills of the Blues. Rain showers though will be developing as we take you throughout your morning. 41 for Tushi into Athena, 40 degrees today in Pilot Rock with 43 in Irrigan. Heppner today jumping up to 40 degrees. The rainfall also developing early this morning there from Wapato, Zilla into Union Gap. Expecting those temperatures in the low 40s. Starting off with a little bit of some icy spots and some freezing fog and a slight chance for a wintry mix, especially for Cle Elum. 39 degrees for Cle Elum today and 40 in Ellensburg.
Thank you, Kristen. Well, officials in Massachusetts are looking for the owner of a wandering llama. The lone llama came to the attention of authorities after a motorist spotted him laying down in a field near a busy highway. But what in the world? The driver got out of his car and dispersed a group of coyotes that were gathering nearby. Responding animal control officials say the llama was tame and made them think that he's someone's pet. But the animal was hungry and had overgrown hooves, indicating that he's been on his own for some time. Authorities sent the llama to a farm in New Hampshire while they looked for his owner.
We've contacted a lot of other farmers in the area too that may know of this lone llama. He is living large up there. You know, she sent me videos and pictures of him, and he's laying down, eating a bunch of hay.
So far, it's a mystery who the llama is and where he came from.
And did this lady who's escorting the llama, did she already have the leash?
This is a lot of drama for one llama.
It is.
All right, coming up next on Good Morning Northwest, we'll show you how this box of cigars helped police crack a criminal investigation across 2 local counties. Plus, it's not just the U.S. Capitol seeing unrest. State capitals across the country are also being flooded with angry constituents